Hello everyone. We would like to welcome you to the world of innovative expression and impactful action. So, introducing before you Team RANILAKSHMIBAI. Just like the name of our team, who was a legendary warrior, we are also a group of strong and dedicated individuals driven by immense willpower and determination. We are a group of 5 individuals and each one of us will represent a something different before you. I, Prajwal Murkewar.
Myself, Shreya Bathri.
I am Sarthak Roy.
I am Shruti Ray.
Myself, Mehul Singh.
And together we from Team RANILAKSHMIBAI. Through this video, we are going to shed something light on a topic of how humans save nature by Michael Schellenberger. Nature is the ultimate source of our living. Nature and humans are two sides of a coin. They are intellectually connected.
Nature provides humans with essential resources such as air, water, and food. While humans have a profound impact on the environment, the relationship between nature and humanity is complex, with humans both benefiting from the harming the natural world.
Human activities such as deforestation, pollution, and climate change have significantly altered the environment, threatening biodiversity and ecosystems. Conversely, nature has also shaped human culture, inspiring art, literature, and spirituality.
By recognizing the interdependence between nature and humanity, we can work towards preserving the beauty and wonder of the natural world for future generations.
This symbiotic relationship is crucial for well-being of both living and planet. By embracing sustainability, we can ensure to live a thriving planet.
Human beings have done amazingly well over the last half century. In 1950, there were just 2.5 billion people on Earth. Today, there's more than 7 billion of us. The percentage of people living in absolute material poverty has been declined, around 85% in the early 1800s to just 15% today. Everywhere, in fact, morality has been going down, and almost everywhere people are living longer lives. Unfortunately, all of our success has come to at a high cost to the natural world. The number of wild animals on planet Earth has declined by half since 1970. Why do we care about the fate of the remaining golden monks in Rwanda? After all, we'll also be as materially rich if they are gone and live long lives. I make up a rational relation, but for me, after spending a morning with this mother and her baby and looking at them now, looking the way the mother is looking at her baby, her eyes, the way the baby is looking at the world, with that curiosity and that excitement, it touches something deeper in us than rationality. Couldn't we say that the same thing about the children in Rwanda? After all, we don't know them. We are not Rwandas, but we care deeply about them. And we don't want 3 billion people to continue to rely on the wood and to be trapped in poverty. We are a researcher organization that's committed to a big goal. Lift all humans out of poverty and return more of the earth to wild nature. Over the last few years, we have been focused on a particular question: how humans save nature. That may sound like a strange thing at look at given everything we have just mentioned, everything we hear about the environment. You might even wonder, do humans save nature? The answer is that we do. What we have discovered in that we do in a way that follows what turn out to be a hidden pattern with specific elements that are really true around the world at different moments of time. One of the things we found is there's number of trends that are actually going in the right direction on the environment. If we take a right action today, the overall size of the human population and our overall negative impact on the natural world could peak and decline not by the end of the century, but within a few decades. But there's a catch, and that's what we will have to confront some deep-seated fear and we have about the world. And we will have to confront some important misconceptions. To begin, if there's one thing I want everyone to remember, only one thing you get out of this talk, it's that humans save nature by not using it. And this may sound strange because it seems we're always using nature in same way. But what I'm definitely not saying, what we have definitely not found is that we save nature by using it more sustainably. Our research suggests is we don't save nature by using it sustainably. We save nature by not using it. What do I mean? We will take a closer look. Humans use about half of the earth, half of the land surface of the earth, the part of the earth that not under the water or under glaciers. Of that half, about half of the human impact is meat, of 24% of the world's surface, and another 10% is crops. Another 9% or so is for wood production. And this is really amazing. Just 3% of the Earth's surface we use is cities and suburbs for the place that we live. What's important about that is that now half of all humans, 3.5 billion of us, live in cities and suburbs, and this will prove to be a crucial part of how humans are going to save nature and how our negative impact will peak and decline this century. You can see that it's the part of the earth that we don't use that we lead to wild nature. So let's take a closer look.
I've mentioned it. There are three ways in which humans save nature. The first is we save it by not needing it. I said it before that we save nature by not using it, but we only don't use nature by not needing it. What do I mean? Many of you know that here in New England, including in the New Bedford and much of Massachusetts, whaling was a huge industry in the early 1800s. Mostly, we hunted whales for their oil. We used their oil as energy to light up our lamps. Then something happened. Some of you may know what happened around the middle of 19th century. This cartoon in Vanity Fair magazine, I think, says better than any. It's a celebration. It's a party. You'll see the whales are dressed up in the tuxedo and ball gowns, and it's in 1861. And what the caption says is grand ball given by the whales in the honor of the discovery of oil wells. We save nature by not using it. We save nature by not needing it. We didn't need the whales anymore. We had a better substitute. It was kerosene, made from abundant and cheap petroleum. We didn't save the whales by using whales more sustainably. We didn't save the whales by having more efficient lighting to burn the whale more efficiently. We saved the whales by not hunting them. This is the New England in 1880. There was only 30% of it forested at that time. Most of the rest was farmland. This is New England today, 80% forested. Martha's Vineland was really a large sheep farm in 1900. Today, it's mostly forested. When you fly over, if you can see the beautiful forest, yesterday it was a wild osprey, several wild osprey. In New England and much of the rich wood nature is returning. The forests are growing back. Why? These farms mostly were bankrupt. We mostly didn't need them for their land anymore. We became more efficient growing more food. We grew more food on less land. We saved all that nature, allowing forests to grow back because we didn't need it. Look, this amazing photograph of Hong Kong. Look this beautiful green forest that surrounds Hong Kong. Hong Kong is the only able to save that beautiful nature because it doesn't need it for the growing food or using it for energy. They've made an incredible city, and people say if you go to the city, you'll be alienated from the nature. But look, they can walk into the nature from Hong Kong. Nature is right there. They have wonderful access to it. This is an important part of how the human impact on the world will peak and decline in a century. More of us are going to move to cities, and we are going to return more of earth to nature, and wild nature in particular. You may wonder, that sounds nice for Hong Kong, but what's about the poor countries? What's about the developing countries? What's about all the slums? Isn't this really about industrialization, about forests where conditions are terrible and people are treated miserably? That was certainly my view 20 years ago. I was involved in efforts to hold Nike and other corporations accountable for their labor practices in other countries, particularly in Indonesia. It was a successful effort, and Nike did make some improvements, but 20 years later, I wanted to go back. I wanted to see what had happened to the workers. Had their lives really improved materially? I met this young woman. Her name is Supat. She is from a rice growing village in the countryside. After high school, she wanted to join her aunt in a suburb of Jakarta and work there in one of her factories. She got a job in Barbie factory, making clothes and cutting the thread of the Barbies, and it was terrible. She was verbally abused every day. She went home crying every night, and she did not something extraordinarily brave. And that's the she quit. But she didn't want to go back. She didn't want to be a rice farmer. She wanted to have a better life for herself from the city. She struggled, but she found another job, and she found a job in chocolate factory. She became an extraordinarily labor activist and women's rights activist. And when I met her, she was a very positive and about her future. She has two cell phones. She has a motorcycle, and she just bought a house. She makes 4 times more money than the people back in the village farming rice. She is now saving money to send her parents to Mecca, which is a dream of many Muslims around the world.
This is what's happened. Since 1960, we are growing much more food on much smaller amounts of land. It's one of humankind's most extraordinary achievements with great benefits to the natural world. We use half as much the land per person globally to provide our food. That's only possible. It's only possible for Sparty to live in the city as long as she doesn't need to make her own food. And we are making more food for more of us. Before he died, Jacques Cousteau had a similar vision for the oceans. He knew that a rising human population, a rising consumption would put enormous pressure on wild fish. Wild fish is the last set of wild animals that we in the rich world still eat. While fish farming is still early days, it's a still young technology. Has a long way to go. It's going to be crucial to releasing wild fish and returning more to the oceans to wild nature. So the first way we save nature is not by needing it. The second way is that we have smaller families. I mentioned Sparty. Now that she's in a city, she wants that life for herself, she wants the freedom, she can date who she wants to date now and is able to love who she wants to love, marry who she wants to marry. I asked her about her family history. Her grandmother had 3 children. Her mother had 6. And Sparty said sometimes she wants to have 2 kids, sometimes she wants to have 4 by choice. In the countryside, a poor farmer needs a lot of kids to help him work on the farm. Needs a lot of kids to help him in retirement. In the city, you can invest more in fewer kids. That trends consistent around the world as women become more powerful, more educated as they have more income. They are able to do more things with their lives, choose to have fewer kids. You can see it right here. Even though the overall population has grown from 2.5 to 7 billion over the last 50 years, you can see that we don't know what's going on to happen next. You see, there is one scenario that we keep going up and another scenario that we keep going down. What will determine whether we go up or whether we go down? There are two different estimates by two different leading demographers. The high population estimate, where it would go up to 16 billion or more by the end of the century, is a world of low energy, wood energy, dung and charcoal, and large families, mostly in the countryside. A world where the population peaks at 8.5 billion and then declines by the end of the century is a world that looks a lot more like what Sparty is living in, with higher energy, smaller families, more development and more opportunity. We save nature by having smaller families. And moving to number 3, the third part of the 3 ways in which we save nature, to using more high-tech forms of energy. This is Mahishia. She is one of the 900 remaining mountain gorillas left in the world. As a baby, she grew up in Africa's oldest national park in Congo called Virunga Park. In 2007, her parents and much of the rest of her group were killed by men making charcoal for energy. Since then, there's been a number of well-meaning efforts to plant trees to help people in the region burn wood more efficiently, and then the situation has only gotten worse. We visited it in the December of last year. This is a picture of the park, an aerial photo that we took high above the park. You can see here the fires in the park, here and here, illegal charcoal burning in the park. Why? Because people need it. They need that nature. Over 90% of the people depend on wood for fuel. We didn't save the wells by using wells more sustainably, by using whale oil for more efficiently. We saved the wells by using a different kind of energy, by using a substitute.
This is Sparty. Sparty, like a young woman who is moved to the city everywhere, uses propane, what we use as a camping fuel, similar to the natural gas that we all enjoy. It's an important substitute for a 2 to the 3 billion people still depend on wood and dung as their primary energy now. Propane is a fossil fuel, and that it means as the poorest people in the world gain access to the modern energy. We are scheduled to have a lot of global warming. This is form of the Nobel Prize winning United Nations Environmental Panel and Climate Change. You can see a historical emission, and you can see a different color, various possible futures. You can see there are 3 different possible increases. We could go 5 degree above a pre-industrial temperatures. We could go on a 1 degree under pre-industrial temperature. It depends on a choice that we make today. This is a Shanghai as a more of us move to the cities. We are going to the consume more energy. For everybody to live at the modern living standard, a basic material needs meet. The world is going to the need to the triple, perfect, quadruple. The amount of energy produced from today, if all of that energy is fossil, we are going to see much more significant climate change. What we are the clean energy options? There are not many. There is a solar, there is a wind, and there is a little bit of geothermal. The, these are hydroelectric dams, and there is a nuclear power plants. Solar and wind are wonderful. I have spent much on my professional career advocating for more solar, for more wind, including the wind farm of the coast of Cape Cod. But solar and wind alone cannot power Shanghai at night. And there is a lot of excitement development in batteries. But we are also far away from being able to power cities on a batteries. Geothermal is a great where it is available, and it is not available in many places. Hydroelectric dams have mostly been built in the rich world. We have mostly dammed the rivers, and even in a place like China. Many of rivers have already been dammed. That means we have to take a second look at a nuclear power. When I was a boy, my aunt took me every August Bittersweet Park, where we remember the Hiroshima bombing. We will light candles, putting them on paper boats and pushed them into the ponds and meditate over a war and morality of responsibility. A few years later, I saw a television movie about the aftermath of a nuclear war, and in high school, I saw a documentary of Hiroshima about the horrors of a nuclear. I was anti-nuclear my entire life, and I confronted this data and challenge of meeting global energy and development needs, and also dealing with one of most serious environmental problem. And I have changed my mind in that time. I have spent a lot of time understanding the technology. Fear is really important. It wakes up the world. It makes aware of risk, but if we allow fear to drive us, we can end up making decisions that actually put us to greater risk. So it's important to understand what the scares. It's important to understand the nuclear power. This is a nuclear power plant in California. You can see it's a remarkable piece of technology. And what is the equivalent to above its football fields? Lot of surrounding green nature. It provides power of 3 million homes. You can see it's built up 3 times higher than the tsunami that affected Fukushima. There is a backup water in a case there is a power outage. They can keep a reactor cool. These domes are contaminated domes, which means if there is a meltdown, no radiation will escape. And you can see if here natural life, sea life exists because nuclear power is a zero pollution. One of the things we have learned about energy production is that form of energy environmental perspective. You want least natural resources, the least amount of fuel in the most amount of energy out, and the last amount of pollution and waste. You can't walk alongside on a coal plant and not be affected by smoke. You can with nuclear. It's a serious issue in terms of pollution. And what nuclear provides is reliable power to 24 hours, 7 days a week, to power big cities like Shanghai. What's about the accidents? We hear so much about the accidents, and we have revived all of the peer-reviewed scientific literature, independently done, and here what it showed.
First thing to keep in mind is that 4 million people die every year from diseases related to inhaling wood smoke. From 3 billion people that rely on wood as their primary energy, 4 million die from respiratory illnesses. This is a measurement of power plants. Number 1. The most dangerous form of energy is coal. They look at accidents and air pollution, but the remarkable thing is basically all the death isn't blue. You can barely see the green line up there are from air pollution, petroleum. Second best or second worst, natural gas and improvement and nuclear. I push the button and it doesn't come up because the number of deaths is too small to register on this chart. The former NASA climate scientist James Hansen did a study using standard public health science and calculated that 1.7 million lives have been saved by nuclear energy. What nuclear does is it leaves the fossil energy and in the ground. We save nature by not using it, by not needing it. With nuclear, you don't need fossil. What about the waste? This is the waste from Pilgrim Nuclear Plant, which provides 14% of Massachusetts electricity. A lot of people fear this plant. A lot of people fear California's plant. This is the waste. It is just sitting there. It is not hurting anybody. It is not going anywhere. We have a couple of people watched it. People say, well, but that waste is going to be around for 10,000 years. If that were true, even if that were true, that small amount of waste would be, I would suggest, a small price to pay for universal prosperity and returning more of the earth to nature. Not to mention the public health benefits of zero carbon power. But here's the thing that waste will not be around for 10 of 1000 years. It may not be around for several more decades. One of the most exciting collaboration right now between United States and China is to develop the molten salt reactor, one of the first commercial reactors that uses that waste as fuel. 95% of the energy is still in the so-called waste when it comes out. There is no major scientific breakthrough needed. It's going to be tough technological challenges, but it can be achieved. Another team led by Bill Gates and another team of MIT engineers are all working on the same thing. There are actually other groups as well. There is a global competition to create the world's first meltdown proof reactor that also consumes waste as fuel. The environmental impacts. I mentioned that what you get with nuclear is a small amount of fuel going in, a lot of energy coming out, a small amount of fuel, and zero pollution. This is how much land we used for energy in 2010. I mentioned that if we want to achieve universal prosperity, universal development by 2050, we need 3 times or maybe 4 times as much as energy. If it was all from nuclear, the energy footprint will actually shrink. If it were all from renewables, it would grow to be the size of North America and Alaska. So let's do solar and wind. But we can't just do solar and wind and return more of the earth to wild nature. How do humans save nature? I mentioned there is a hidden pattern and it is specific and consistent around the world. It consists in moving people out of their dependence on wood and agrarian poverty, moving away from large families to medium-sized families, choosing to have smaller families, access to the modern energy so that the forests are spared. That forest can grow back from agriculture, and then you see the final and the last important step, moving towards small families, universal prosperity, and nuclear energy. What is this a vision of? Today, we leave half of the earth for nature. Can we leave 75% for nature? We are going to need more lands for cities, but given current trends, we can drastically reduce how much of the earth we use for roads, crops, and meat production. Can we do it? I think we can. Why am I so confident? Because we have done it before.
With this, we have arrived at the end of our beautiful journey of How Humans Save Nature project. Just like every other project was full of challenges as well as a learning. Every difficulty gave us a more chance to become a more creative.
We express our sincere gratitude to Dr. Anoop Tiwari Sir for his guidance and support throughout our project. His expertise, feedback, and encouragement were evaluated in helping us complete the project successfully.
We are also very grateful to the Humanities and Social Science Department and its HOD Dr. Sameer Bajpai sir for giving us this wonderful opportunity to go in the depths of communication skills as well as to learn how humans save nature.
Our special thanks to our all classmates and everyone who has been a part of this beautiful journey.
A huge thanks to our audience whose time has helped us to create something different.
In conclusion, we can say that through this project, we learned that humans are not only a part of nature but also a resource who can save as well as enhance the nature. This project was full of ups and downs, but with every step, each one of us has grown and as an individual.
Thank you.